Lindsay Lohan didn't want to play Cady. She wanted to be Regina George. She actually auditioned for it. And when Rachel McAdams came in to read for Cady, she made Lindsay so nervous during script readings that the producers pulled her from the role and made her the villain instead. These are 20 secrets that change how you see Mean Girls. Number 20. What you don't know about this casting story goes deeper. Lindsay Lohan told Entertainment Weekly, "I wanted to play Regina. I was still 17, and I wanted to be the cool girl on set. But after Freaky Friday reframed her public image as America's sweetheart."
I wanted to play Regina because I had just come off of Freaky Friday, and I really wanted to play like a pretty normal girl now.
Paramount's CEO Sherry Lansing told director Mark Waters it wasn't going to work. She now has an audience that won't accept her as a villain. So Lindsay became Cady, and Rachel McAdams, who had auditioned for Cady, got pushed into Regina. Rachel was 25, Lindsay was 17, 8 years apart, playing the same grade. And the woman who became the most iconic teen movie villain of the 2000s almost wasn't in the movie at all. Drop a comment if you can't imagine anyone else as Regina. Number 19. Get this. Before Jonathan Bennett was cast as the dreamiest boy in school, James Franco was seriously considered for Aaron Samuels. Penn Badgley, Jared Padalecki, and Max Minghella also auditioned. The original actor who was actually cast got fired during pre-production, so the role went back out entirely.
Well, the first time I did it, I got a 0.
Wrong.
But then when I checked it, I got 1.
There you go.
I got 1 too.
Tina Fey ultimately picked Jonathan Bennett because he reminded her of Jimmy Fallon, her longtime SNL castmate. Think about that. The most swooned-over teen heartthrob in early 2000s cinema exists because he looked like Jimmy Fallon. And meanwhile, James Franco, who was mid-Spider-Man at the time, just didn't get it. Number 18. The casting room for Mean Girls was essentially a preview of the entire mid-2000s. Blake Lively made it to the final test for Karen M before producers kept looking. Ashley Tisdale and Vanessa Hudgens both auditioned for Gretchen. Scarlett Johansson, before Lost in Translation changed everything, read for Karen too. Mary Elizabeth Winstead was asked to audition for Gretchen, but her mother turned it down because she didn't like the script.
Yeah. Wait, Jason's not going out with Taylor. No, he cannot blow you off like that. He's such a little skis. Give me your phone.
And Amanda, she had originally auditioned for Regina, then Cady, before producer Lauren Michaels stopped a room mid-conversation and said, "What about the dumb girl? I think Amanda could play the dumb girl." She came in, read Karen once, and nailed it. Every single character you love almost had a completely different face. Number 17. Mark Waters wanted a Kelly Osbourne type for Janice, intentionally unglamorous, visibly outside the social hierarchy. Lizzie Kaplan walked into the audition and was immediately considered too attractive for the role. Then she did the scene. The raw emotion she brought stopped everyone in the room. Waters gave her the part on the spot. And here's what fans have always picked up on without necessarily knowing why.
Oh God, honey, no. What kind of mother do you think I am? Why do you want a little bit? Because if you're gonna drink, I'd rather you do it in the house.
Janice feels real in a way the plastics don't. That's not just writing. That's Lizzie bringing something personal and unpolished that no amount of styling could have manufactured. And stick around. There's a secret about why the film almost got an R rating that changes how you read some of the most famous scenes. The original dialogue was a completely different movie. That's coming up. Number 16. This one catches people off guard every time. Cady Heron was named after Tina Fey's college roommate, Katie Gary, someone she shared a furniture-less apartment with at the University of Virginia. Mattresses on the floor, one beanbag in the living room. She liked her enough to name the main character after her. Damien was named after Tina's real high school friend Damien Holbrook. And Glenn Coco, the guy Damien calls out with infectious enthusiasm during candy cane distribution.
Hurry up. Taylor Zimmerman, 2 for you. Glenn Coco, 4 for you, Glenn Coco. You go, Glenn Coco.
Is named after a real person. The real Glenn Coco works as a film editor in Los Angeles. Number 15. Gretchen is desperately trying to make fetch happen. Regina shuts it down every single time.
And he totally complimented you. That is so fetch.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
The joke is that fetch can't work. It's too forced, too try-hard. Tina wrote it as a joke about the mechanics of manufactured slang, the kind of word that dies the moment someone pushes it too hard. Then audiences went home and started saying fetch, ironically first, then just normally. The slang that was written to fail became part of the actual language. Gretchen was right all along, and nobody gave her credit. That's the most on-brand outcome possible. Number 14. The MPAA came back with an R rating. The producers had to go back and cut or redub a significant amount of content to land the PG-13. Here's what was originally in the script. When Cady is asked if her muffin was buttered, the original line was, "Is your cherry popped?"
Hey, we're doing a lunchtime survey of new students. Can you answer a few questions?
Okay.
Is your muffin buttered?
What?
The girl who made out with a hot dog had originally done something considerably more explicit with it.
Made out with a hot dog. Oh my God!
And the scene where Cady walks in on Gretchen kissing Jason? She was originally walking in on something much further along. Director Mark Waters reportedly argued some of the rawest lines through by pointing out that Anchorman had gotten away with similar content at PG-13. The version you know is the softened cut. The original script was meaner, weirder, and significantly more unhinged. Number 13. Wait, what? Amy Poehler plays Regina's mom. Regina is played by Rachel McAdams. Amy is 7 years older than Rachel in real life. 7. The whole cool mom dynamic, the desperation to be seen as youthful and relevant by her daughter's friends, lands even harder when you realize the actress playing her is barely older than the actress she's trying to impress. Amy Poehler was 32 playing someone's mother. Rachel McAdams was 25 playing someone's teenage daughter.
What are you guys listening to? What's the cool jams?
Mom, could you go fix your hair?
Okay. You girls keep me young. Ugh, I love you so much.
Hollywood age math is something else. Number 12. Here's what most people don't know about where Mean Girls actually came from. Tina Fey didn't write this from memory of her own high school experience. She read a nonfiction self-help book called Queen Bees and Wannabes by Rosalind Wiseman, a guide written for parents to understand how teenage girl social dynamics work. A book aimed at worried mothers became the blueprint for the most quotable teen comedy ever made.
Hold on. Oh my God, she's so annoying. Who's this?
And Wiseman herself later confirmed the film was pretty accurate to what she'd documented. The burn book, the social hierarchies, the way girls weaponize friendship, all of it was drawn from real patterns she had observed and cataloged. The plastics weren't fictional. They were a case study. And if you're here for the casting chaos, there's still one more role swap coming that almost made this movie impossible to finish before cameras even started rolling. That's around the corner. Number 11. The working title throughout early development was Homeschool, a reference to Cady's background as someone who had never been inside a real school before.
This is your lunch, okay? Now I put $1 in there so you can buy some milk. You can ask one of the big kids.
I wrote it down for you just in case. Put it in your pocket. I don't.
It's fine. It describes the plot, but it has none of the edge, none of the cultural weight. Mean Girls as a title does something that Homeschooled never could. It frames the entire social system as the subject, not just the main character's fish-out-of-water arc. The title tells you what the movie is actually about before you sit down. A small change on a whiteboard somewhere shaped 20 years of pop culture branding. Number 10. I'm a mouse. Duh. The Halloween scene works as a joke.
What are you?
I'm a mouse. Duh.
But Tina built it as something more specific. Sadie shows up in full zombie bride makeup, genuinely scary, completely committed, while every other girl is in lingerie with animal ears. The joke isn't just that Karen is clueless. The joke is that Cady hasn't learned the rule yet. Halloween in Girl World isn't about costumes, it's about permission. And here's what most people miss. The scene is doing two things at once. On the surface, it's funny. Underneath, it's one of the most precise pieces of character writing in the film. Because notice how Cady reacts. She doesn't laugh at the other girls. She scans the room and immediately starts calculating. She doesn't say, "This is ridiculous." She says, "I underdressed." That split-second pivot is the moment Cady starts disappearing. Not when she joins the plastics. Not when she starts wearing pink on Wednesdays.
On Wednesdays, we wear pink.
Right there, in that doorway, holding a fake scythe.
Hey,
Why are you dressed so scary?
it's Halloween.
Tina drew this from something real. She's spoken about studying her own high school memories and recognizing the specific anxiety of showing up wrong. Not just embarrassed, but suddenly aware that there are rules you didn't know existed. That feeling of being in the room and immediately recalculating who you have to become. The Halloween scene is 2 minutes long. It contains the entire arc of Cady's transformation in a single reaction shot. Most people laughed and moved on without catching it. Number 9. Quick one, but fans lose their minds over this every time. During the scene where Cady asks her science teacher for a bathroom pass, there's a blackboard visible behind him listing chemical elements. One of them is silicone, spelled with an E. Silicon is an element. Silicone is a synthetic material. The extra letter is not a mistake.
Where are you going?
Oh, I have to go to the bathroom.
You need the lavatory pass.
Okay, can I have the lavatory pass?
Nice try.
Have a seat.
It's a quiet, blink-and-miss-it joke about plastic in a movie called Mean Girls, about a group called The Plastics. Tina put that there on purpose and never once pointed at it. And speaking of things hidden in plain sight, the story behind how Tina Fey cast herself in the movie is more calculated than it looks, and it explains why the script survived production intact. That's next. Number 8. Ms. Norbury, the math teacher, the moral center, the one adult in the film who actually says something true, is played by Tina Fey, the writer. That wasn't vanity, it was control.
I don't know who wrote this book, but you all have got to stop calling each other sluts and whores. It just makes it okay for guys to call you sluts and whores.
By being on set every day as an actor, Tina could watch every scene, protect her dialogue, and adjust lines in real time. A writer handing off a script and walking away is how movies get watered down. A writer who's physically in the frame can't be ignored. Ms. Norbury also gave her a direct channel to deliver the film's actual thesis. The calling each other names speech isn't a character moment, it's Tina talking to the audience. She needed to be the one saying it. Number 7. The plastics seem obvious now. Queen Bee, desperate follower, oblivious one, new girl navigating it all. That's because every show after 2004 copied it. Gossip Girl launched 3 years later and built its entire social architecture around Blair Waldorf.
I'm not a stop along the way. I'm a destination, and if you refuse to attend, I'm gonna have to find a replacement. Girls, the waiting list.
A Regina George who traded North Shore High for Manhattan's Upper East Side. Same insecurities underneath. Same iron grip on the hierarchy. Same desperate follower in Serena's orbit. Pretty Little Liars went darker but kept the shape. A queen bee whose absence becomes the organizing trauma. A tight social group held together by fear of exposure. Riverdale, Euphoria, Elite. Pick any teen drama from the last 15 years, and you'll find the bones of Tina Fey's 4-role structure somewhere inside it. But here's what none of the copies ever quite got right. Tina didn't just build archetypes, she gave them interior lives that quietly contradict the surface. Regina runs the school but can't admit she's terrified of losing it. Gretchen is brilliant enough to see that the whole system is rigged against her, and chooses to keep playing anyway. Karen is written off as oblivious, but she's also the only one who's never cruel. She just doesn't know the rules well enough to weaponize them. The imitators kept the shape, but missed that part completely. They built queen bees.
Can I just say that we don't have a clique problem at this school? And some of us shouldn't have to take this workshop because some of us are just victims in the situation?
Tina built people who happen to act like queen bees because they don't know another way to survive. That's the gap. And 20 years later, nobody has fully closed it. Number 6. Saturday Night Live for years. Sharp sketch comedy. A legendary writing room career. And Mean Girls was the first feature-length screenplay Tina Fey ever wrote. Not a second film. Not a passion project after proving herself elsewhere.
Favorite memory from making that incredible movie?
Oh my gosh, shooting that movie. I had never been in a movie before, and so I had no idea, I just done Weekend Update, but it was a good time.
First script, straight to Paramount, produced by Lorne Michaels, starring Lindsay Lohan at peak cultural relevance. She went on to create 30 Rock, write Bossy Pants, and produce Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, but this is where it started. A first-time screenwriter, a parenting book, and a very specific memory of what high school felt like. Now here's the thing most people don't think about when they watch this movie. The quotes, the plastics, the cultural phenomenon, all of that happened. But underneath it is something quieter. A group of people who were genuinely figuring out who they were on a set where nobody was sure the movie would work at all. Number 5. The film shot in Toronto from September to November 2003. Lacey Chabert, who plays Gretchen, had her birthday during production. The crew brought in a cake.
But on my 10th birthday, I walk into the theater, the Imperial Theater, with my tray of cupcakes, and they let me know that both of the boys were out and I was going on.
Sang to her, and the whole set celebrated. Then Canadian Thanksgiving arrived, and Lacey returned the favor by cooking a full Thanksgiving feast for the entire cast and crew herself. This is not a plot-altering secret, but it's the kind of detail that reframes how you see Gretchen on screen.
Here goes your birthday party. You're like, oh my gosh.
Happy birthday to me.
Yeah, hold my cupcakes. Let's go. Let's do it.
And there's nothing like that theater, the
Were
community.
you nervous? Were you scared?
I mean, honestly, if that happened to me now...
The actress who played the insecure, desperate to belong plastic was apparently the warmest person on set. That's a gap worth knowing about. Number 4. Teen comedies were struggling in 2004. The genre felt worn out, and Paramount's internal expectations going into opening weekend were, by their own admission, genuinely modest. The studio's head of distribution, Wayne Llewellyn, told Box Office Mojo directly, "I thought we were mid to high teens," meaning somewhere between $15 and $19 million opening weekend. They'd moved the release date around multiple times trying to avoid competition from other teen pictures. They weren't positioning it like a sure thing. They were hoping it would survive. Then it opened to $24.4 million, and Llewellyn publicly said he was surprised. What pushed it over the top, he noted, was an unexpected surge from older female audiences in the final days before opening. Women in their 20s and 30s who weren't the core target demographic. Over 90% of opening weekend moviegoers rated it excellent or very good.
Tina and Amy Poehler, who played the unforgettable cool mom in the original Mean Girls movie, met some 30 years ago while performing improv in Chicago.
Even men in their 30s, about as far from the target audience as you can get, came in over 80% positive. It ran to $86 million domestically on a $17 million budget. Then word of mouth kept going. Then the quotes started spreading. Then October 3rd became a calendar event. Then a Broadway musical happened. Then a second film. The studio thought they had a mid-teens opener. They accidentally had a permanent piece of the culture. Nobody in that test screening room saw the 20-year timeline coming. Number 3. Aaron Samuels asks Cady what day it is. She says October 3rd. That's the whole scene. 11 seconds.
On October 3rd, he asked me what day it was.
It's October 3rd.
It exists to establish that Cady has a crush and is paying attention to meaningless details. But fans turned October 3rd into Mean Girls Day. Globally observed, annually trending, genuinely celebrated in schools and offices every single year. One line, not a joke, not even a particularly important story beat, just a date. And it became a calendar event that outlasted most actual holidays. Tina Fey has called it one of the strangest and most wonderful things the movie did to the world. Number 2. I'm not a regular mom, I'm a cool mom. That's why her hair is so big. It's full of secrets. 4 for you, Glenn Coco. You go, Glenn Coco. According to cast interviews, several of the film's most repeated lines weren't in Tina's original script.
But after Freaky Friday, the filmmakers didn't think fans would accept Lindsay as a villain.
Casting is perfect. So I'm really excited.
They came from actors finding something in the moment, and Tina being smart enough to keep them. Amy Poehler, Daniel Francesi, others, all adding their own instincts to a script that was already sharp and making it sharper. That's why rewatching this movie 20 years later still produces new laughs in the same scenes. You're not just watching writing, you're watching what happens when the right people find each other and start riffing. Number 1. This is the thing that separates it from every other teen comedy. Get in, loser. You can't sit with us. The limit does not exist. Stop trying to make fetch happen. On Wednesdays, we wear pink. Boo, you whore. These aren't quotes people use to reference the movie. They're how people actually communicate, in texts, group chats, comment sections, in real conversation with people who may have never seen the film. Mean Girls created a shared vocabulary, a cultural shorthand that works across generations, across countries, across contexts. Teenagers today use these lines without knowing where they came from, and that's not dilution. That's the definition of something entering the actual language.
Finally, girl world was at peace.
Let me know if you were there opening weekend in 2004, or if you discovered this movie years later and it still hit exactly the same.